Good morning, Monday morning. Welcome back to Video Diary on the farm. It's a wet, miserable day out there. It rain on the window, not good. Anyway, we've got a lot on this week. We're on the digger, some tree shearing work, some clearing up, and yeah, a few other things happening. So yeah, hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you at the end. I've just put our TMK Tree Shear on our digger, and we're just going to go do some bit of work with it. I'll just show you around it for anybody who's not familiar. We'll start here. That is a slew motor, a pivot point. It will slew the tree shear through 180 degrees. So when we look at it from here, it'll go 90 degrees to the left and 90 to the right, because you all know you never get tree branches what are spot on square, so you need to adjust it. Now we'll get down to the business end, which is the blade. This is a hard ox blade, and it's fairly sharp, but not too sharp. And what happens is, via this big hydraulic ram here, which is a big one, you grab the tree, as you'll see in the videos, and then this closes onto the knife, and as it closes, obviously it cuts through the trees or branches, and this will cut up to 300 millimeters, or in old money, just over 12 inches. Around 12 inches anyway, maybe 13 at a push in softwood. And then what it does, it shears it off, and then the grab holds it solid in here, and then you swing round and then you can let go. But a good thing with this tree shear is this tool here, which is the collector part of it. So what happens when this closes fully, if you've got a small bit, this is on a spring, and pressure releases off the ram, a little ram in here, hydraulic ram, you can see it there, and it flicks round in front of the small bit of wood. And then when you release this, the ram pressurizes and it holds the bit of wood in here. And that means you can go for another cut on a small branch without having to dump it. So the cycle times are faster because you just keep cutting, and then when this doesn't flick round anymore, you know your grab's full, so then you slew round and you get rid of your load. But yeah, if you're doing small self sets or anything like that, you just keep going and snipping at them without having to swing round and dump them, and you can get 5 or 6 in. It just depends how thick they are, but that's a really neat feature. You maybe saw the delimber part on here. We don't have that. Well, it's another attachment what goes on here, and you slide it up. You get the stem of the tree or branches and you slide it up, and it takes off all the side limbs. But our digger doesn't really reach tall enough to do anything like that, so it's more weight, so we haven't got that option. But yeah, it's a really good bit of kit, and well, you'll see it working anyway. Right, well, we're out with the tree shear working now. We're taking a bit of a hedge out, which has been applied for permission. It's all above board through the correct channels. This is for a customer, and yeah, we're taking it out and we'll dig the stumps out and level it all back up. go in, you cut a handful, and that flap, if you can see it, has spread, jumped back, and it shuts to and traps it in what I've cut. And you've got to cut some more. Then when it springs open again, cut some more. It saves a lot of time, because you keep, instead of having to go tip it, you can just keep cutting. Now it's full now because it hasn't sprung back, so we'll go empty it. There we go. It's opened up now, press the button to release it. Down to the country park. We've got to shift some wood chip into the biomass boiler and get the shed where the wood chip is ready for a lambing experience. Yeah, once a year the person who rents the grassland out for the sheep, to have sheep on it, he stages a lambing experience in his lambing shed, or our lambing shed, but he does it in the shed. So it attracts a lot of people to the country park. So yeah, we've just got to get it cleared out, and then he'll get it all ready for bringing the sheep in to lamb sometime. Well, February, end of February time it starts. Yeah, this is where the wood chip is, in what we call the sheep shed. This is what's going to be converted into a lambing shed. And he gets all his pens built. So yeah, get this shifted out, and he can get them built up. I'll just show you this while it's empty. This is the intake pit for the biomass boiler. It's got these steel springs on, and the centre turns and it wraps these springs. These springs wrap tight, and what they do, they flick wood chip into this auger, feed auger, and this feed auger, it goes into the boiler. All a very clever system. It just pulls what it needs then. Anyway, we're going to get this filled up out of from the other shed. Meanwhile, George was having a bad day ploughing. He got stuck twice on an angling water pipeline that was put in 3 years ago, which wants some new drains putting in really. But it took a lot of getting out. As you can see from the pictures, he was very stuck. We attached a chain around the wheels and anchored it to the Challenger because the tractor was still sinking at that point and we didn't want it to tip over. We then lifted the plough off to reduce the weight on the back end. And it was dark when we extracted him eventually, but he came out without any damage to tractor and plough, but it took a bit of effort. Well, we're just on a pretty big tree shearing job at the minute, cleaning out an old hedge line so it can be re-fenced. As you see, there's plenty of debris coming off it. And it's fairly wet in places. The springs all over the place in this field. But yeah, we're tidying it up so we can get a new fence line in. But this is at the bottom end of the field. This was overgrown. This fence line, trees was overhanging it. As you can see, there's not many proper trees. These are growing out the bottom of the dike. So eventually they will be removed. Not this year, but yeah, as we say, you can soon cut down some wood with this machine, but you can cause a lot of clearing up, a lot of devastation. Anyway, best crack on. Just clearing up a few brambles now. Pull the fence out of what was hidden beneath them. Just squaring the job up, make it look tidy. Because you can flail them, but they do tend to wrap round the flail a bit, brambles. That's it for this week's edition of Video Diary on the Farm. Been a busy week on the digger, and it's ending on the digger as well, because we're doing a bit of ditching now after the tree shearing work. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have, please hit that like, share and subscribe, and hopefully we'll catch you again next week.